and today I want to give you the top 3 red flags in dating. Now, there's a lot of different red flags I can name, so I'm not going to sit here and say there aren't others that we can add to the list, and I really want you to comment below and tell me what you feel are your top 3 red flags. And because everyone's different, we're going to see different answers. But I'm going to give you 3 general ones. And I think these are ones that aren't always considered by a lot of people. But I definitely feel are warning signs or are things that you need to look into when they do pop up. And when I say look into, properly address them with that individual. So let's get right to it. Tip number 1, or red flag number 1. They're still mad at their ex. Now, here's the reason why this is a red flag. If this individual expresses resentment, anger, any kind of negativity towards their ex, then they're still holding on to something from that relationship. And they have not properly healed from that relationship. Now, you may be thinking, why is that really a big deal? We all don't like our exes, or not all of us, but many of you don't like your exes, and that shouldn't be an issue. But no, it's an issue because if that individual has not healed and come to peace about that situation, then they are 99.9% likely to drag something into this new relationship. They have emotional baggage that can cause a lot of problems in this now interaction with you. It could be insecurities that stem from that relationship. It could be a lack of trust because of the fact that they're not even going to believe all the good you bring to the table because they're still holding on to the bad they experienced in the last relationship. There's so many things that can come about it, but if they're still expressing anger and negative energy towards their ex, it needs to be talked about, it needs to be addressed, and we need to make sure they aren't carrying baggage with them, emotional baggage. Now, red flag number 2, they just want to go with the flow. So you hear that more from men. Men telling women, let's just go with the flow. The reality is that it can happen both ways, all right? But I will admit that it probably happens more with the men. Regardless of who it's happening with, the reality is that the individual who says, let's just go with the flow, has no vision for this relationship, has no specific plan. And that can be dangerous. I'm not saying it can't ever work out. But without an understanding of where we're trying to go with this, then people can end up getting very emotionally invested, but then very disappointed when that individual is not on the same page as you. I believe that if we're going to have a successful relationship, whatever that be, whether that be to be friends, romantically, whatever, we need to have a shared goal in mind or a shared vision. So if it's like, hey, we're getting to know each other for the sake of building towards a relationship, or hey, neither of us are ready right now, let's be friends and we're cool with being friends. Whatever it is, we got to be on the same page, but we have to know where we're trying to go with this. So when that individual cannot express that, I do believe that is a red flag, and you got to take a step back. Because can you feel okay and comfortable with proceeding with someone who's very vague in their intentions with you? I think that's, again, too dangerous of a dynamic to entertain. And so that, to me, is definitely another huge red flag. And then the third red flag would be they hang around a very negative circle. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is that if you take a deeper look into their lives, and the reality is that this is one that you may not learn on that first date, and you're going to have to go deeper to really see this. But once you see it, or you become aware of it in any kind of way, it needs to be addressed. And the fact is, when people hang around negative people, they are going to hang on to negative thoughts. They're going to be fed a lot of negative energy. They're going to be fed a lot of unhealthy behavior. They're going to become a product of their environment to a certain extent. Now, I'm not saying 100% people who are constantly exposed to negativity aren't able to rise above that. But you've got to take a look or a deeper look at it and have a deeper discussion about this. Do they subscribe to the perceptions and beliefs of the people they hang around, whether it be their family members, their friends, so on and so forth? It's almost like if you're trying to have a serious relationship, and let's just use men, for example, as in it's a woman dating a man, and the man hangs around nothing but single dudes who love to run the streets and wreak havoc, all right? you got to make sure this dude does not think the same way as his friend, that he's really gone past that and he's matured to a new level to where he's not going to allow that to affect him and how he handles this relationship with you and getting involved in inappropriate behavior that he doesn't need to be engaging in. Same thing if you're a man dating a woman. If she's around nothing but negative, let's say, even if they're not single friends, let's say just negative friends, whether they're in relationships or not, then you have a situation where these friends can feed her a lot of doubt, a lot of insecurity, make her question things about you that doesn't need to be questioned, but is simply coming from their negativity and their bad experiences and their lack of healing. And these things can cause a lot of problems. So again, look at the circle they're engaging with. Look at the people that they expose themselves to on a regular, consistent basis, and make sure they're not taking on and absorbing and mimicking a lot of that negative behavior and negative energy, because that will definitely or can definitely destroy your relationship. So again, like I said earlier, there's a lot of different red flags I can give you. I want you to tell me in the comments below, what are your top 3 red flags, or what may be your top red flag if you don't want to name all 3.